Start with prayers. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantapura Vaishnavrind ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Bol. Right. So till the last session, we discussed how Ravana, he got all the boons from Brahma that he cannot be defeated or killed by the demigods or the sages or the celestial beings, and he disrespects humans and monkeys. So apart from them, he asks for a boon from for protection from all kinds of creatures or species. So except the human and the monkeys, everyone are covered in his boon. So Brahma grants it, and later on he becomes very powerful with that, and he becomes proud, and he starts to kill, we discussed like how his grandfather Sumali, who all the Rakshasas who were hiding in the lower planetary systems, they came up, they instigated Ravana to take back the Lanka, which was being ruled by Kubera. So even his mother said, you see, Kubera is flying, and see, look at you, both are brothers, but you are fallen like this, and he is that great. So that has instigated Ravana to take up these great austerities and get the boons. So now that he has got boons, he's raging. He already raged war against Kubera, and I mean, he sent his messenger to vacate, and Kubera, taking his father's permission, they abandoned the Lanka city. They gave it to Ravana, and they go to Kailasha, and they reside there, Kubera and all this. So Kubera was also doing some austerities, and after that, on his return, he learned that how his stepbrother, is raging havoc across all the planetary systems. So to give some good advice, he sends a messenger to Lanka to just say a few good words, and he said, whatever you have done is enough. Please stop it and be dutiful. But Ravana again became very angry. He killed that messenger, and now he became so angry that he is going to Kubera, to Kailasha, to wage a war against Kubera. So so today we'll discuss from this point. So he has along with his 6 most important advisors, like Mahodara, Prahastha, Maricha, Shuka, Sarana, and Dhumraksha. So all of these 6 plus Ravana and other demon army, they always like to fight unnecessarily. So they all proceeded towards the Kailasha. So they crossed many cities, rivers, mountains, and then they reached Mount Kailasha very soon. And after reaching there, basically, he makes a great sound. And then he said that I'm the king's brother, that means Kubera's brother. And they started a war. Normally, a war happens when there is a consent between the 2 parties and all that. But here, they started the war and started, destroying everything. So a great war already started. So by this time itself, the news went to Kubera that he is approaching here. and all that. And Kubera was also getting ready. And Ravana and other army, but they were progressing towards like the Kailasha mountain, or the palace where Kubera is, or the city where Kubera lives. So there is a Yaksha, okay, one celestial being. His name is Manibhadra or Manichara. Okay, so Manibhadra, he was very strong. He's very powerful Yaksha. He was very extremely difficult to vanquish. See, from now onwards, from the time when Ravana had got the boon, you will see all the sins that he's committing. Various sins he's committing. So many curses he is getting. So now he is here. Ravana and his army was met by Manibhadra. And Manibhadra was surrounded by thousands of yakshas with all different kinds of forces. They all started to fight. So it's mentioned Prahastha just killed 1,000 yakshas using his club. Mahodra killed another 1,000. Maricha, he brought down 2,000. Dhumraksha and others, they also brought down so many. Then Dhumraksha, he attacked Manibhadra. And Manibhadra was very strong. He did not tremble. So he also picked up a club, a mace, and he struck the Rakshas, Dhumraksha. And Dhumraksha, he lost his senses and fell down. So when Dhumraksha fell down, Ravana, so till now it's not the name of Ravana, okay, it is Dashagriva. So Dashagriva, he became very angry and he attacked Manibhadra. So they both attacked each other very strongly. They struck each other with various javelins, clubs, mace, or spears. And finally, what Dashagriva does is he takes his club and he hits Manibhadra on his head with his club. And because of that blow, his crown was moved a little bit to one side. And he became unconscious. And from a distance, from that place, Kubera could be seen. So Kubera was having the club Shukra Proshtapada, that means Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, Shamkha, Padma. They were all different nakshatras and the auspicious weapons. Okay, all personified. So nakshatras are Purva Bhadrapada, one of the 27 nakshatras is Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada. So both of them, they had come to meet Kubera. Shukra also came there. Shamkha, Padma, Shankanidhi, Padmanidhi, they were also there. So now Kubera is getting ready. Along with them, they are trying to approach Ravana or the Dashagriva, and Kubera said, Dashagriva, even if I restrain you, you do not understand. So it's very important. That means even if Kubera is winning over Ravana or Dashagriva, Dashagriva is not in a position even to realize or to understand. So Kubera is saying, when you go to hell later, you will realize the consequences. And he gives the reason, an example. See, a stupid man who is confused and drinks poison, he will not understand the consequences, or he will understand the consequences of whatever he has done by how? In the form of fruits, like means the actions, the reactions which he's going to get. So he's saying, Kubera is saying like that, you will also know. When you go to hell, you will understand. Whatever you are doing, nothing is as per the dharma, religious principles. See, a person who shows disrespect to his mother, father, brother, or a preceptor, okay, will see the consequences of his actions when he comes under the subjugation of the time of the Kala or of the king of the dead at the time of the death. So he tries to give some good advice. This body is temporary, and it is meant for doing austerities. Again, it is said, as I know in last Sunday call we have discussed extensively on tapasya. So here again Kubera is saying that this body is meant to perform austerities. And he gives a lot of good guidance to Kubera, sorry, to Ravana. But Kubera can understand that Ravana, Dashagriva is not listening. So then he said, okay, it looks like nothing is getting into you. It's my decision that to give a fight with you. So after saying like this, Kubera, he struck all the advisors, the 6 advisors with whom Ravana came, including Maricha. So they were all baffled, they became weak, and they ran away from that. Then Kubera, he struck Dashagriva on the head with the club. But Dashagriva, he did not even waver from that spot. And then both of them are fighting very fiercely. Kubera is releasing one astra and Dashagriva is countering that weapon. Suppose Kubera is releasing the Agneya astra, the weapon of fire, then Dashagriva is countering with a weapon of water, Varunastra. So, after being engaged in the battle for so long, then what Dashagriva did is he struck with his club onto the head of Kubera, and because of that he lost his senses and blood started to flow. So immediately the Padmanidhi, Shankanidhi, and other demigods who had come, or the nakshatras who had come, they took Kubera away from that because he fell unconscious. They took him to the Nandana forest or the groves, and they revived Kubera. So as Kubera was no more seen, and he was defeated by Dashagriva, as a sign of victory, Dashagriva, he seized the Pushpaka Viman, the plane. And that airplane, the aeroplane was, that flight was, it's called Pushpaka, that means made of flowers. So it had full of golden pillars and golden doors. It was fully decorated with gems, diamonds, rubies. There were nets of pearls. There were trees that give fruits to whatever desire you have. Like it can give you like kalpa vriksha. No? It can satisfy all your desires through the form of the fruit. And that Pushpaka Viman, it can travel anywhere. See, now if we take an aeroplane, we need an airport, a runway. We need so many other things to climb the airport and all, you know. So then we take off, then we land. But this Pushpa Viman is not like that. It can be landed anywhere. It can take off from any place. So after winning this battle, Ravana, he descended from Kailasha. He took this Pushpak Viman loaded all his people, and he started to go around all the throughout the three worlds. Then, this is an important pastime. Then what happens? He's still in the Kailasha, right? That at least in the area. Say now when we say Kailasha, we say it's one mountain. No, but it's a huge place. So he took that Pushpaka and he went further. But when he went further, what happened was the Pushpaka Viman's progress was hindered. Pushpaka Viman couldn't move on the sky. So all the advisors and Rakshasas and demon Dashagriva, they were also thinking that this Pushpaka Viman, it can go wherever it wants. But how is that its movement has been impeded? What is the reason why Pushpaka Viman cannot move? So this must be an act of someone who is in this mountain. Because as per the Shastras, the aeroplanes of demigods, when they also fly, they don't pass over the temple of Vishnu. They go around. They can't pass on to that. So because it is the respect that's given. Even see when king, when he's traveling in a palanquin, he's being carried by his servants, and from his palanquin, suppose if he sees the flag of any temple or a gopura of a temple, immediately the king must get down and walk until he reaches that point where he can no more see that flag. The flag is normally hung on the top of the sanctum sanctorum. So these are all the etiquettes. So he knows that, okay, there must be some very powerful person here. So as they were thinking, what happened is Bhava's follower. Who is Bhava? Shiva. So Shiva's follower is who? His Nandishvara. Okay. So he arrived there. And he had a form of a human body. At that time, he assumed that form with a face of a bull, or which was looking like a monkey. So he spoke, Nandishwara spoke to Dashagriva, said, Dashagriva, you return from here. Shankara Mahadev, he is sporting on this mountain. Therefore, this mountain has been made impassable for birds, serpents, yakshas, daityas, danavas, rakshasas, and all creatures. They cannot pass over it. So you return, you go back. But you see, Dashagriva, he was so proud. He's saying, who is Shankara? And he was so proud. He went to the bottom of the mountain. He saw Nandishwara was not far away. And he was holding a spear, and it was resembling a second Shankara. But his form was a kind of a human, but at the same time not human. So looking at his form, he laughed. He laughed, oh, what kind of a form is this? So Nandishwara, he became angry. So he cursed. So you have seen my odd form, and in your foolishness, you have criticized me, or you have insulted me. You laughed at me. Therefore, in the lineage of Vanaras, or the monkey lineage, he criticized, like, oh, you look like a monkey, you talk big things and all. So Nandishwara curses that in the lineage of the Vanaras, Vanara means monkeys, many will be born who are like me in form and who are very powerful as me. They'll be my equal in energy and bravery. So they will come and they will, when they come and meet you, imagine that it is the end of your life. So, and because of what you have done today, I'm capable of killing you right now. But I do not wish to kill you because of your own former deeds or the punya that you have performed. Okay. And because of what you have done, even in the after getting the boon until today, whatever you have done, because of your former deeds also, you are already killed. And then he did not even bother about what Nandi was talking. So he went to the mountain, he inserted his arms under the mountain and he tried to raise it. So Agastyaman is saying, my dear Ramachandra, looking at this Mahadev, Shiva, he laughed at what he was doing. So as the mountain was moving, even Parvati Devi was also shaking, and Shiva, so Shiva was laughing. So what he did is, just like a sporting, just as a playing, he pressed down the mountain with his toe, the finger on the foot, the big finger, with the toe, he pressed the mountain. So then what happened? Then the mountain, it pressed the hands. The hands were under the mountain, and they were crushed. Ravana became very angry, and he was making a loud sound, extremely loud roaring, and that filled up all the three worlds. And humans and other species, they could not bear the sound. The demigods were agitated. So after realizing the power of Shiva, then Shiva says, Ravana, I'm pleased with your valor, what you're trying to do, like how about your dare and all that. It's a terrible thing. No one cannot even think of doing it. But and your sound was so roaring. I think your name from today, I think people will call you as Ravana. See, Ravanam means roaring or a sound. Very loud sound, extremely loud sound is called Ravana. So Shiva says, "Oh Ravana," he himself names. He will be called as Ravana because you roared like it. And he released it, and he released his toe, and so he paid obeisances. So he didn't go and fight with Shiva because he could understand Ravana, and now Dashagriva's name is changed to Ravana. Okay, so Ravana also, he liked this name. Dashagriva liked this name. Instead of saying Dashagriva, Dashanana, I like the name of Ravana. It's very good, and Shiva gave it. So he agreed to it, and he also paid obeisances. He understood that he's very powerful. I cannot win over him. So wherever Ravana gets defeated, he becomes humble. Examples of them are, anyone who knows? From our Ramayana we discussed before. Shiva could subdue. Apart from Shiva, who else was able to subdue?
Vali.
Exactly, Vali. You are right, Mataji. Vali was able to subdue. So when he was subdued, again he becomes humble and say, "Oh, let us be friends," and all that. Anyways, from there, then Ravana, he confidently proceeded along, and like he mounted his Pushpak Viman, and then he proceeded further and he was roaming around the earth. So here and there, he used to obstruct very brave Kshatriyas, he used to kill them, slaughter them. So he used to do that. Now, then what he did is he reached a forest in Himalayas and was roaming around there. And there he saw a girl, Kanya, unmarried girl with matted hair. That means married hair means that she's tapasvi. And she was like a goddess of fortune. And she was observing all the noble rituals and she was performing austerities. So Ravana became confused. So he came near her and he smiled and asked, he said, "Oh, fortunate one, you are acting against your youth. Why are you behaving like this, acting against your youth?" What do you mean by acting against your youth? His definition, this is all Rakshasa's definition, okay? Anyone who speaks like this, one must know that he's a demon. So their understanding is when you are in youth, prime youth, one must do only sense gratification. Because same sense gratification, when he becomes little older, he may not be able to do it. So see, what is he saying? Acting against your youth, why are you behaving like this? Behaving what? Doing all the austerities. And whose daughter are you? Who is your husband? So please tell me. And why are you performing these austerities in a secluded place? Then that Sadhvi, she replies, my father's name is Kushadhwaja. Again, you would have heard about him in when Vishwamitra was telling about his lineage. Okay, his forefathers is Kushadhwaja. So my father's name is Kushadhwaja, and he's Brihaspati's son. And he's he's very intelligent. And as he was practicing his Vedas, I was being born to him as a daughter. Basically, one of here, this different versions of this are there, but basically she appeared to Kushadhwaja while he was practicing the various Vedas. So that is why I've been named as Vedavati. So when I came to the right age, many demigods, Gandharvas, Yakshasas, some demons also, Rakshasas, serpents, they have all come to my father to take me, to accept me as their wives. But my father, he did not bestow me on them. And I'll tell you why. Because my father, he intended that Vishnu should be my husband. That means Lord Vishnu should be his son-in-law. And my father did not want anyone else. And the reason is also that she was very devoted. She is also like Sahasra Lakshmi Sevya Manam, expansions of Lakshmi Devi. One of the expansions. So that's why all the demons and the demigods, they were all got rejected. But there was a Daitya, again one species of Rakshas, demons. His name is Shambhu. So when he heard that my father had this vow, while my father was asleep during the night, he came and he killed him. And my mother, embracing my father's head, she also left her body. It's mentioned that when the funeral pyre was on, like she also was consumed in that fire. That is like doing sati, we say, no, sati, that the practice of sati, when the husband leaves the body, the wife also leaves the body, she enters the fire when the husband is burning. And what happened is again, when the degradation of Brahmanas and the degradation of the senior people in the society, foolish people, they made it mandatory for the wives also to die. In some places it had happened. And why all this happened is, again, degradation of dharma. They don't know what is truth and what is not. Normally, it is not accepted to commit a suicide. If you commit a suicide, you will implicate a lot of sins. You will get a ghostly body, okay, and you will not be getting food, and you have to live as long as your life is intended. Suppose your life is meant for 100 years and you have given up the life, say, in the age of 30, 70 years or more, you have to live your life in the ghostly bodies. You will not, and you'll be haunted. The ghostly, it is mentioned, ghosts haunt us, right? No, ghosts themselves are so haunted. I mean, it's a miserable body they get. They'll be very thirsty, they'll be hungry, they'll be wandering around. So it is not allowed. It's against the Vedic principles to commit suicide. But for a wife, when her husband dies, and if she commits sati, then she will not be implicated with the sins of committing suicide. Now there are conditions, Manu Samhita, there are other samhitas which say, because the loss of husband is so much that they feel that dying is easier than living without without her husband. So sometimes you would have seen, like in the scriptures or in the Puranas, sometimes it's mentioned that certain ladies have performed an arati, keeping a camphor in their hand and lighting it and performing an arati. It was burning their hand, but still they were performing. That means their willpower was much stronger than what they could actually feel. So anyways, but it is not mandatory. It is not at all mandatory. Okay, it is an option if she wants to, because before this Johar that has been done, that the Rajput queens used to enter into the big pit of fire. There was other Johars also, but we unfortunately we know only few. There are other Johar. It's called Jala Johar. That means the queens they entered into the water and they died. Why? Because after, see, they were not doing this Johar before. But when the Muslim invasion started taking place, they know that if a Muslim king comes and like especially in India at those times, when a Muslim king comes and invades, they would rape their all the women and children, abuse. They will sell the women to the as a sporting ladies for the entire army. So they cannot because now they don't have any protection. Their husbands are, it is the duty of the husband to protect. Now their husbands are all dead. So who can protect? So because death is much, entering into fire and getting died is much tolerable than going through years and years of slavery. So you will see, even when Queen Kunti, Pandu Maharaj died, Kunti and Madri, she left her body along with the husband, but Kunti, she stayed. Okay. Anyways, maybe we'll discuss about this thing maybe much detail when I talk about it in Mahabharata. But just to mention that Vedavati's mother, that means Kushadhwaja's wife, she also left her body. Now, after that, what happened is, I wanted to prove, like I wanted to make my father's wish true. What is my father's wish? That Narayana should be my husband. So even if I have to die, I will accomplish my father's wish. So I have taken that promise and pledge. Therefore, I'm undertaking all these difficult austerities. So I have told you everything about me. So resorting to these rituals and procedures, I'm desiring Supreme Lord Narayana as my husband. And then he says, O King Paulastya, that means someone who has come in the descendant of Pulastya, Ravana, I know about you. Because of my austerities, I have that, I can know everything that goes on in the three worlds. So, but you cannot take me. I cannot accept you. Then Ravana, he became so lusty, and she said, "Oh, one, my dear maiden, with excellent hips." You see, that's how actually he addresses any beautiful woman he sees. He says like this, even to Sita Mai, when she was telling, "Oh, when he came in guise of a sannyasi to abduct Sita Mai." What was he saying? He was saying, "Oh, Sita." He doesn't even know the name. He says, or he knows the same name, but he addresses her as a, "Oh, excellent hip one. Oh, the lady who has excellent hips. Oh, the lady who had excellent breasts." These are the lusty things that he addresses any beautiful woman whom he sees. And he says, "See, you are totally blind. It is the right age. You possess all good qualities. You should not act in this way. You are the most beautiful in all the three worlds. I've never seen you as beautiful as you." And who is this Vishnu you're talking about? He's not even equal to me in my austerities, in my power, in my pursuing the pleasures or the strength. He's not at all equal to me. So he started saying like that. And as he was saying that, by this time itself, Ravana, he held Vedavati with her, by her hair. And he seized her by her hair. So Vedavati became very angry. She cut off the bit of the hair with her hand. So it is mentioned that her hand turned into the sword because of the powers that he had. And with that sword, she cut off her hair. And immediately she lit a fire there, and she made up her mind to die. And before she was entering, she said, "See, having been oppressed by you, I no longer to wish to remain alive now. As you're looking, I'm going to enter into the fire now. I'm faultless. But right now I'm without any protector. So since you have oppressed me, I will cause your destruction again. I curse you that if you do the same activity to any other woman, that means if you enjoy any other woman without her permission, without her will, what will happen is your head will burst into 1,000 pieces." See, this is actually the reason why he was never forcing Sita Mai. So cursing like that, she entered into the fire. And the later part in other Kanda Purana, it says that then Vedavati was not burnt there. See, as I said, the fire cannot touch such a powerful woman. Imagine there is a forest fire, and you know how forest fire, it's extremely huge, and you have a fire in your, say, a candle. Do you think the candle fire can burn the forest fire? It cannot. They are very pure souls. So Agni Dev immediately he received her and then asked her, his wife Swaha Devi, to take care. And Ravana it all happened behind the scenes, and he does not know. And in another version, what happens is Agastya Muni, this Uttara Ramayanam also, there are multiple versions. And now that multiple versions happen because there are multiple times this Ramayana had happened. And whenever this happened, there will be slight changes here and there. Okay. So in one of the versions, what happens is Agastya Muni, he says that Rama, see, he's telling all the history of Ravana to whom? Agastya Muni is telling this to whom? To Rama. So he says, Rama, you using your superhuman power, you attacked and you killed the Ravana, who was like a mountain. But, however, he was already dead by the curse of Vedavati. She had already killed him. Vedavati has already killed him. You were the instrument. And as she was entering, this in the one of the versions, it is said that, what is she said that since you oppressed me, to kill you or for the sake of your destruction, I will be born again. But not through the womb. I will be born as a daughter to a very dharmic person, a very virtuous person who follows the dharma very nicely, but not through the womb. So Agastya Muni says that the same Vedavati was born again from the earth when the mouth of the plow of Janaka Maharaj was, it hit that box when he wanted to plow the land for sacrificial fire for altar, when he was plowing the land, and that plow hit one of the box, and in that box only Sita Mai was appeared. So this Vedavati was appeared again as Sita. This is in one of the versions of Uttara Ramayana. Again, there's a Kalpa Bheda. Anyways, so after Vedavati gave up her body, then Ravana, he took his Vimana again, and again he started roaming around the earth. And he went to a place, to a mountain called Ushira Bija. Now here the demigods were performing some sacrifice, and there was a Marut. Marut is one species of humans again, of the demigods. He was performing a sacrifice. And there was a Brahmana Rishi, his name is Samvarta. He is a brother of Brihaspati. He was also very powerful Brahmana. So he was officiating the sacrifice at that place. He was officiating priest there. And Ravana, Allah on his Pushpa Vimana, was coming there. So the demigods, right? Indra, Yamaraj, Kubera, and Varuna. These four are the guardians of this Brahmanda. They were also there because for every sacrifice, the guardians of the universe are invited. So Yamaraj, Kubera, Indra, and Varuna, they all came. So they saw Ravana was coming. Immediately, Indra took the shelter of a peacock, Dharmaraj, he took a shelter in a crow, and the Kubera, he took a shelter in a lizard, and Varuna took a shelter in a swan. All these creatures were around. Immediately they disappeared from that place and they took shelter in those creatures. So meanwhile, Ravana, he approached there, and and Ravana, this is the same dialogue that he tells to everyone. Okay, wherever he goes to fight, he tells the same dialogue. What is that? Give me a fight. Or you say that you have been vanquished or defeated by Ravana. Either you fight with me or you agree that you have been defeated by me. So Marut asked, who are you, first of all? Then Ravana was laughing and said, see, I'm very pleased with your ignorance. You don't know about me? I'm Kubera's younger brother. Who doesn't know about me in the three worlds, about my strength? I have defeated my brother Kubera and I have captured his Vimana. It is like, a terrorist coming and telling, I have bombed, proudly saying that I have bombed this city and I have bombed this city. I have killed this army. It is saying like that. So Marut was astonished. He says, I understand you're blessed to be Kubera's brother. But whatever activities that you're doing, it is against the religious principles. And your activities are condemned in all the worlds. And it is not something that you should talk great about it. You should not boast about it. After performing all these evil actions, you're boasting about it. You're praising too much about yourself. And I have never heard of you before. So saying like that, both Ravana and Marut, they started fighting. They were about to go and fight, actually. They were about to go and fight. As they were emerging to fight, exactly what happened is, at that time, Samvarta, remember the Brahmana, who is a brother of Brahaspati, who he was about to do the sacrifices. That Samvarta, he obstructed the path of Ravana with his power. So Ravana became standstill for some time. At that time, he addressed Marut in a very affectionate words, said, Marut, you listen to me. This clash will not do good to you. If this sacrifice is not done, your lineage will be destroyed. So, and the outcome of the battle is anyway very uncertain. And these Rakshasas are become very extremely difficult to defeat now. So listen to me. You put away, you cast aside all your bow and arrows and all the weapons. So Marut immediately listened to his Brahmana. He kept everything aside and he agreed in front of Ravana that I'm defeated. Then Ravana became very happy. And in his happiness, he ate few rishis over there. He devoured few rishis who were assembled for the sacrifice. And he was completely satisfied with their blood. And after drinking their blood and eating their bodies, he was very happy. Again, he started wandering around the earth. You see how many killings he's doing. Now, when Ravana left, all the demigods who were hiding, they all came out of the bodies of those species. And they said, so first Indra, he spoke to the peacock. He said, my dear peacock, I'm very pleased with you because you have given the shelter when I had, and you have protected me from Ravana. So, as a boon, my 1,000 eyes will be displayed on your feather. So Indra had got one boon, one curse, that his whole body will be full of eyes, the 1,000 eyes. Okay. So he said, my 1,000 eyes will actually become eyes on your peacock, the feathers. So Agastya Muni is telling to Rama, my dear Ramachandra, earlier the feathers of all peacocks used to be blue. But after getting this boon from Indra, all of they became multi-hued, like all the eyes, which you see, like multi colors are there in the peacock's feather. Now Dharmaraja, when he came out of Yamaraj, when he came out of crow, he says, I'm very pleased. So I bless you that you will not normally, or Yamaraj is saying that for a person to die, okay, he will be afflicted with some kind of a disease. So my boon to you is that you will never die with disease. Actually, you will not have any fear of death. And no creatures, like many of the creatures, it cannot kill crows. I think crows, I heard it's elsewhere that the crows have a special way how they die. And here in this version of Uttara Ramayana, he mentions that only men can kill you. Okay. And then he says that when the men die, when the humans die, and when normally the relatives, right, they offer tarpana or remnants of food to their forefathers. So when you take it, right, so all the humans who are suffering in the hellish planets, they will be satisfied. The forefathers will be satisfied when you take it. Or it is mentioned that the forefathers can accept the food through you. Then Varuna, he speaks to the swan. He says that I bless you that you will be very beautiful, like that of a lunar disk, the disk around the moon, how shiny, how white it is, you will be as brilliant as that. Your form will be very handsome. That's why, in the Shastras, whenever Lord Ramachandra or Krishna, when the different, or the incarnations of Vishnu, or when incarnations of Lakshmi or Radharani are all mentioned, it is mentioned as if it is compared with the swan always. How they walk is like as if the swan is walking. The swan's walking is very beautiful. So Varuna is giving this blessing to swan. And when you approach my water bodies, it will be even beautiful. You will find pleasure in my water bodies. And you will enjoy all the pleasures. So now Agastya Muni is saying to Rama, before the swans did not have that white complexion all over. Their wings used to have some blue color at the tips, and their forms were different. But after this, they became very beautiful. Then Kubera, he was in the lizard. So he said, I'm granting you that your complexion will be golden. And he gave some boons to that lizard also. So at that sacrifice, then like this, the demigods bestowed all these boons on them. Then with the king, then they all returned after the sacrifice. They returned their residences. So now Dashanana, Dashagriva, he has defeated Kubera. Now he has defeated who? Marut. And now he comes on to the Earth planetary system, and Agastya Muni says that Ravana used to go to all different kings and he used to declare, you give me a fight, otherwise you agree that you have been defeated by me. So Agastya Muni is saying that there were many wise kings who followed the dharma, and they know about the strength of the Ravana, which he had obtained all through all the boons, and they agreed. They said that, okay, we agree that we have been defeated. And who are they? Dushyant, Surata, Gadhi, Gaya, Pururava, all these kings said that they have been defeated. After this, Ravana, he approached Ayodhya. Okay, he approached Ayodhya. That's why Dasharath Maharaj became very afraid. When Rama, Lakshman were just maybe around 12 years or 11 years, 12 years or age. I think after 12 years, 14 years or something, less than 16 years. But when Vishwamitra came and he said he will take Rama Lakshman or Rama to his sacrificial place, and then Dasharatha asks, who is there? Which demon is actually disturbing you? And then he says that Maricha is disturbing me. Subahu, Maricha are disturbing me. And Tataka, they're all disturbing us. And Dasharatha Maharaj knows they're all the associates of Ravana. So when he heard the name of Ravana, he said, no, I myself with all my army, I cannot fight or against Ravana. How will my son fight against this Maricha? So here Agastya Muni is saying that Ravana, he approached Ayodhya also. At that time, Anaranya, your forefather Anaranya, was ruling. So he also came there and said, either you grant me a battle, otherwise agree that you have been defeated by me. So Anaranya became very angry, and he said, I'll fight with you. Then within a moment's time, Anaranya, he collected an extremely large army. And there was a fierce battle between Anaranya and Ravana. And it is mentioned that when both the forces clashed against each other, it looked as if the 5 rivers, imagine the great 5 rivers, they're all entering into the ocean. So everybody is getting slaughtered and killed. Then Anaranya saw that all of his army is getting vanquished very soon. Then Anaranya, he released around 800 arrows onto the head of Ravana. But it was all like as if a rain is pouring down from the cloud, no? Like that it was. And Ravana also became angry, and he struck the head of Anaranya with his palm, just with his palm only. And the king, he fell down. He started trembling, limbs, everything. He was losing his consciousness. And he was oozing blood out. Now Ravana is laughing at Anaranya. See, you fought against me. Now what did you obtain? There is no one in the 3 worlds who can fight with me. It looks like you have been intoxicated by some, by alcohol, and you did not know my strengths. That's why you thought of fighting with me. Then, by that time itself, the king's life was almost going. So he uttered these words, last words. He said, yes, you are right, but what can I possibly do? Destiny is very difficult to cross. If this is how the destiny is, then I cannot overcome it. And Rakshasa, Ravana, you're praising yourself. But don't think that you have defeated me. I have not defeated by you. I have suffered because of my destiny. And you are just an instrument. See, very great words. See what kinds of kings they are. Anaranya is saying that you didn't, I'm suffering because of my karma. And you are an instrument. You have delivered this karma to me. That's all. So what am I capable of doing anything? My life is anyway going. But before I leave, Ravana, listen to my words. You have insulted my lineage of Ikshvakus. So he says, if I have given donations, if I have offered oblations, if I have performed great sacrifices and very good deeds, if I have observed all the austerities, if I have protected my subjects properly, let my words come true. And what are those words? That there will be a great souled one who will be born in this lineage of Ikshvaku. He will be extremely energetic king and he will kill you. He will take away your life. He said like this, and immediately then he left his body. When he said that, the drums of demigods were being sounded from the top, from the sky. Flowers were being showered from the sky. And then the king, that means Anaranya, he left his body and he proceeded towards the heaven. So, my dear Ramachandra, your forefather cursed Ravana like this. So doesn't Ravana know all these things? When Rama was fighting, what was happening? Whoever is going out of Lanka, he's not returning back. And he very well knew that this is the same Ravana. Sorry, the same Rama, or who might be the descendant of Ikshvaku. Actually, sorry, not might. Who is the descendant of Ikshvaku and is giving me a very strong battle. He's not getting defeated. And he's just the same Sita who's cursed, like who came as of Vedavati. At any time, he could have retreated himself and he could have surrendered to Ramachandra, but he did not. That is why they are called Murkha, fools. To fools, how much ever you tell, they will not listen. Okay, so I'll stop here. There are so many stories in Uttara Ramayana. It is one of the, again, very big, huge. It gives wonderful pastimes of who are those